Hello, good morning. We are making a Christmas pudding today. Jokes, not really, but we are doing a Christmas pudding analogy, and I would love for you to come and join me and watch this live because we've got some really important information in here. And I'm using a Christmas pudding as a bit of an analogy because it makes sense. It makes sense, you guys. So we are talking about how important it is to make sure that you are removing your makeup, exfoliating, adding hydration, and cleansing your skin properly. So let's get stuck straight in. I have a couple of bowls here in front of me, and this is just this one here. It's just a mixed sultana mix, like a mixed fruit mix that you would make a Christmas pudding with. So there's sultanas, there's orange peel, and little raisins in there as well. And you can see it's all, dry and dehydrated like they come in the packet, right? Now, this is not an old packet. This is a fresh packet that I opened, and you can see that it's quite, they're all dry. Obviously, they need to take the moisture out of all of them so that they don't go moldy in the packet. And so we have our bowl of mixed fruit here. Now, just like making a Christmas pudding, you must add hydration into your fruit, let it soak overnight before you go and make your Christmas pudding the next day. Or even let it soak, they let it soak for months and months and months to let it really soak in and get all the flavors into your fruit. It's not just overnight, it's for weeks and weeks and weeks. In this bowl here, I have the same amount of mixed fruit with a quarter of a cup of water. And notice that as we have a bit of a look at the fruit, obviously it's all now plump and squishy. And also the surface, I know it's difficult for you to see there, let me show you here. The surface of the fruit is flat. So this is one of the key things that I actually want to talk about. I'm going to do a bit of a skincare demonstration and show you what I mean on my face in just a sec. Stay. But what I mean by, see how with this one, the surface is all bumpy. So think of this like your skin cells, okay? This is your skin, and your skin cells are, tiny molecular size, but they vary in size between the skin cells as well. You've got different skin cells that do different things. And just like the surface of your skin, it is not flush. So notice here, just by tipping the mixed fruit into the bowl, we have lots of bumps, and they would be the fine lines and wrinkles. If you look at your skin is not flat. Your skin goes lots of peaks and valleys, just like you have through the surface of the mixed fruit. Now, last night before I went to bed, I put a quarter of a cup of water into the same amount of mixed fruit, and this morning this had completely risen to the top level of the water, and not only was the surface of the water flat, but each of the individual skin cells, sultanas, in underneath the water was super plump and hydrated. So this is the analogy that I want you to think of, like for your skin, okay? Now imagine that if your skin cells are not plump and juicy, that's where you're going to have the fine lines and wrinkles, the crow's feet, the puffiness under the eyes, all that type of thing. So let's get stuck in. Now, this is a bowl that I have just tipped the water into this morning. So again, what I might do actually, I'll show you over here. Let me pick up my phone, it might be easier. Take that off there for just a sec. Hang on one second, I'm just going to turn you around. Okay, so we have our sultana mix. See what I mean by all of the, imagine this gap in the middle is all the fine lines and wrinkles. Hi, Ingrid. We have the one that I put the water in last night. Notice the surface of the fruit is much more level, and each individual fruit is plump and juicy compared to compared to the other one. Now, this is a bowl that I've just put the water in this morning, okay? So you can see the fruit hasn't plumped up as juicy as what this one has, but it will get there if I let it sit for quite a while. And this is a really important demonstration because I want to talk about the difference between the two in just a sec, okay? Now, over here, I also have a little bowl of cornflakes because, we're going to have breakfast while we're here. No, jokes, not really. We're going to do a bit of an exfoliation demonstration as well. So let me put you back up here. Now, I'm very much a visual person. I need to be able to see something like in a visual form like this, and it makes much more sense to me. Now, imagine now that we have our dry, dehydrated skin, and pretty much every single person, I've said this so many times, who sits here in my chair, their skin is dehydrated, whether it's from drinking enough water, whether it's from, from not drinking enough water, whether it's from just not doing regular skincare, whether it's from not exfoliating, whether it's from exposure to the elements, whatever it might be. And our skin cells look like this, and we see it on the outside of our body. You also know, when your legs are super dry and you just get in the shower, you get a big loofah and you exfoliate and they feel so smooth afterwards. And you're like, oh my gosh, why don't I do that every day? If you've got a tan on and you go to take your tan off and you visibly see all those, pieces of dead skin that go floating down the drain, okay? All right, so this is our dry, dehydrated skin. Now imagine on top of that, a skin cell takes about 28 days from the time it's created to the time it disappears and sloughs off, and we repeat the cycle over and over. Now, that's when we're 18. When we're in our 40s and 50s, our cellular turnover slows right down and it turns into more like 45 days. So these fresh, plump, juicy skin cells, as they come to the surface, they dehydrate completely and they become a crusty cornflake, a dead skin cell that sits on the surface. Now imagine if we had a layer of dead skin cells across the top of our healthy skin cells underneath, and we go to put skincare on top of that, all that's going to happen is that we're using and wasting our skincare on those crusty dead skin cells. So we need to make sure that we remove our dead skin cells so that our skincare and our makeup penetrates into those juicy sultanas underneath and keeps it nice and hydrated. Okay, so let's put that over there. So what we're going to do first of all, I'm just going to do a quick exfoliation, and then I want to show you the difference that hydration makes. Now, I've already cleansed in the shower. So first step is making sure that you cleanse morning and night. Just a pea-sized amount, you need the smallest of amounts, but cleansing. If this was the evening, actually, let me show you one more little example. Just like having a layer of crusty cornflakes, of crusty dead skin cells on the surface of your skin, you might also have makeup on the surface of your skin. So if this was the evening, I would have to make sure that I remove my makeup before I cleanse. Now, I have my friend, again, I've done this demonstration on here before, but this just makes sense for me. I have an orange, and on the orange, I've put a little bit of foundation. Now, just like the surface of the sultanas, the surface of our face is not smooth. If you look up under a microscope, our face has lots of peaks and valleys, as I said, just like the pores that you get in an orange. And you can see up close all the little pores in the orange. Now, if I wasn't to remove my makeup before I went and did my skincare, or I didn't do either step, imagine that barrier that's built up over the surface of your skin. Now, if I want to remove this foundation, I've got a bowl of water here. I can get a bowl of water and I can give it a good scrub and move it around, and I get a little bit off, but notice all I'm really doing is just spreading it around. I'm not really removing a whole heap. I strongly encourage you, when you're removing your makeup, to make sure that you're using one of these beautiful microfiber face cloths, and notice the difference. Check that out. So just using your hands and water is not going to be enough. Microfiber face cloths help to pick up all of that excess, not only the makeup, but the dead skin that sits in those peaks and valleys, and the little fibers on a microfiber face cloth help to remove all the excess. So that's just one little simple thing that you can do to help pick up all that excess dead skin and makeup that's left on your face. All right, I'm going to go in and exfoliate this morning. Now, usually I just do this in the shower. So I've already cleansed. So before I jumped on in the shower, I did use my cleanser. That's the first step. And now we want to take off that layer of dead skin, those cornflakes that are sitting on the top. Okay, this is facial resurfacer. It is black volcanic ash, and I usually just do this in the shower. damp face, damp hands, and give it a good massage in for about a minute. Now, it's so much easier in the shower because you can really scrub, and I get like behind your ears. I'm not going to do that now just because I'm going to get it in my freshly washed hair. But get it behind your ears, into the crevices of your nose, around your lips itself, and give it a really, really good scrub into your eyebrows. You have so much dead skin sitting in your eyebrows. All right. And make sure that it's not too abrasive. And now, if you have super sensitive skin, but the idea of exfoliating is a bit scary, mix this into your cleanser. You can just do a little bit more gentle and, mixed peel. I was about to put that in my mouth. And mix it into your cleanser so that it's not as abrasive. So what we're doing now is getting rid of the layer of dead skin. And we only want to do this twice a week, yeah? Only twice a week. 3 times if you have oily skin. Now, again, I'm just going to slop a whole bunch of water absolutely everywhere and get rid of all of these little sandy granules. Now, the main thing that I wanted to show you today was now that we've gotten rid of all of those cornflakes, my skincare that I'm about to put on my skin is going to actually penetrate into the skin that I needed it to. It's not just going to sit across the surface of my skin. It's going to soak right in to the bottom layer of my skin cells, where the skin cells are being created. And as those skin cells travel to the surface, I can still feel it on my face. It's why it's so much easier in the shower. And as those skin cells travel to the surface, they're going to be super plump and hydrated. Therefore, you'll have less fine lines and wrinkles. Okay, now I'm going to go in with 2 forms of hydration this morning. This is one of the most important things that you can do in your skincare routine. Okay, now notice now we are shiny. Okay, we've gotten rid of that dead layer of skin. Notice how it's like buffed, polished. It's like polishing a car, yeah? Getting that wax out and polishing that car until it's shiny. That's what we've got happening here. All right, now we're going to go in and add our hydration in. So this is where I'm going to use both Climate Control and the new product, Senocell Stem Cell Concentrate. These 2 are best paired together. They are the ultimate in hydration. Now, Climate Control, 2 to 3 sprays into my fingers, and then pat all over. Now, Climate Control goes right down into the lower levels of your skin to keep those skin cells plump and juicy. It is sodium hyaluronate, and sodium hyaluronate holds up to 1,000 times its weight in moisture. So imagine that juicy grape holding up to 1,000 times its own moisture content in water. And it's going to be so plump and juicy that we have less fine lines and wrinkles over time. All right, see how now we're like nice and glowy. And as soon as we put that on, I do it morning and night without fail, my most used skincare product. It's going to soak right in, and it's going to keep those skin cells super plump, less fine lines and wrinkles over time. Now, you've probably heard me talking about the new Senocell in my stories. This full name is called Senocell Senoplex Stem Cell Concentrate. It's a bit of a mouthful. This has been fabulous. I have been very, very impressed by this product. I have noticed, not only felt, but I have seen results, my personal results with this very, very quickly. This is super hydration. This has 5 clinical actives in it, not just 1, but 5 clinical actives in it. And the name of the game is all about hydration. Now, also your skin cells, remember, our body stops producing collagen from the time that we're 18. We lose about 1% collagen production every year. So we want to maintain that structure to our skin cell. We want that bounce, that it bounces back. It doesn't just, when you press your skin and it stays there. We want that strong structure underneath. Senocell, we'll just call it Senocell, with the 5 clinical ingredients in it. This is, so the first one, I'm even going to just put my glasses on for a sec. Okay, so it has a red algae extract in it, and it holds 40% more moisture than even the Climate Control. Now, some people would say, so why do I need the Climate Control at the same time? They work differently, they work together. Now, it smells divine, super hydration. This one can go on the eyelids, and so it holds 40% more hydration after one use. So imagine only one time using it, you've got 40% more hydration in your skin. Okay, don't forget to get right down your neck, and if I didn't have a t-shirt on, right down onto your chest as well. I do 2 pumps morning and night together with my Climate Control. Now, it also has a peptide in it that helps to decrease wrinkles 29%. So that's almost a third. Imagine that wrinkle that you've got right there looked a third smaller than what it does now. Like 29%, 33%, we're really close, like almost a third. So like the results from this are really, really good. And imagine if you started it early and you kept using it over a period of time, how like amazing those results would be. Okay, now we've got that, see how we've got that nice hydrated glow now. Now it has the Senoplex complex in it, which is actually in all of the Senegen's products except for LipSense and something else, which I can't remember off the top of my head. But this is the special Senoplex complex that's going to increase your cellular renewal in only 18 days. So instead of 28 to 45 days, like we're pretty much doubling that, and we're bringing those new skin cells to the surface in only 18 days. So imagine those skin cells are super plump and juicy because you've been adding your hydration, plus you're turning them over so much faster. Over the period of time, you are going to have such a beautiful glow to your skin, and of course less fine lines and wrinkles as a result of that. It has another ingredient, it's the big fancy names, Shanahoil Moist, which 5 times water holding power for plumping up lines, as I was saying. And what was the one that I missed? Orchid Stem. So it's got orchid stem extract in it, which is, listen to these 2 words, lifts and sculpts the face. And that's why it's safe also for you to use it on your eyelids, okay? All right, now I'm going to add 1 extra form of hydration in just to show you the 3 main hydration serums that I have available. This is called Nangai oil. I usually just use this of an evening. Comes in the little dropper. You need the tiniest of amounts. Now, even if you have oily skin, these products are suitable for everybody, whether you have visible dryness and flaking at the skin, or whether you have oily to acne prone skin. Especially if you have oily skin, it is really important to be replacing that hydration. You need to continually flush through your pores to remove that hydration. Remove the impurities from your skin, okay? Now, if you have visible dryness, if you have a lot of dark circles under the eyes, and you want to, that forms also a lot of creping under the eyes, I love to like spot treat this like just underneath my eyes in the morning as well. But if you have super dry skin, you can use this morning and night. I tend to use it just of a morning. Now, imagine that we didn't remove the dead skin cells, the crusty cornflakes, and we didn't now lock in this hydration, okay? Now, I've put all of this awesome hydration onto my skin, and it's going to soak right into my skin. But what happens, especially overnight when we go into restorative mode in our body, that's where our body is going to do the most amount of cellular renewal and replenishment. And if we don't now lock in that hydration, our skin is going to end up just like the surface of the orange. Now, with the orange last night, this was cut open last night, and I forgot to cover it and, you know, put it in the fridge, and it sat out on the bench all night. You know how just like when you cut into a piece of fruit and this is all now dry, or just like when you have a fresh loaf of bread, you cut the end off the bread and you don't cover it up and it goes all dry along the edge. That is exactly what can happen to your skin if you now don't lock in this hydration. And what I mean by that is putting a moisturizer over the top, whether it's a daytime moisturizer or, get out of the way, or it's up here, or an evening moisturizer. Both of them are very, very different. Evening moisturizers are formulated to be heavier because it's all about that protective barrier across the surface of the skin. Daytime moisturizers are thicker than, of course, your hydration serums, because your hydration serums go into the skin, whereas the moisturizers sit across the surface. So I'm using the microbiome range at the moment. I just love the microbiome range. This is all about balancing the healthy bacteria level that sits on my skin. I'm going to use one pump, and this is going to not only protect my skin from the top. So floating around in the environment, we have free radicals, little invisible particles that float around in the atmosphere, and they like to come, hi Lindsay, they like to come and attach themselves to your face and eat your healthy collagen and elastin. So we've now put a force field across the surface of my face. So those free radicals can't come in and penetrate and eat away at my healthy skin cells. But we've also done something else. We've also put that force field across the surface of the skin. So now all that hydration underneath can't escape. It's trapped under there by a thicker blanket. So now all that hydration is going to stay in there overnight while I'm sleeping. It's going to do its wonders. It's going to do its magic. And we're going to wake up with super plump, juicy skin. Now, I do this morning and night without fail. I know it seems like a routine for people. It literally takes me 2 minutes to do it. I cleanse in the shower. I put my serums on. I put my moisturizer on. I'm done. Easy, easy, easy. Now, in between this step and the previous step, that's where you can add your treatments. So if you have targeted treatments, for example, vitamin C creams for pigmentation, Neotite eye serum for dark circles under the eyes, anti-wrinkle cream to help reduce those fine lines and wrinkles even further, C-Bright again for pigmentation. There's different treatments they would go on in between. So I've skipped those today just for, you know, the length of this video and to show you. I mainly wanted to concentrate on the exfoliation and the hydration. So I hope that that makes sense. And next time when you're making a Christmas pudding, you're going to really think of this analogy. But I just think it's so, like, you can clearly see the difference in like the level of the fruit that sits there and soaks and is plump and juicy, and how flat the top of the water looks compared to one that you've just added superficial hydration and you haven't let it to penetrate into the skin. And then also, imagine I got my crusty cornflakes. I didn't take them off, and I now go and put water or my skincare into my crusty cornflakes. All that's going to happen is those dead skin cells soak up all of that good skincare, and it doesn't actually go down into the skin cells underneath that I want it to. So I hope that makes sense, you guys. If you like this video, please give it a share. I hope it was informative for you. If you would like me to help determine your skin type to get the right skincare for you, because remember, I'm using the microbiome range here, but there is a range for dry skin, normal to dry skin, normal to oily skin, and an acne to sensitive prone, or simply for helping to reset the healthy bacteria level on your skin. So I can determine which one is right for you. I also have Afterpay available on my website through direct invoicing, and PayPal in full is coming back on my website as well. So it will be available soon. They had to take it off because there was a bit of a glitch with the website. But if you message me direct, I do have Afterpay available through my invoices, and get yourself started on a regular routine. Remove your makeup, cleanse your skin, exfoliate your skin, and make sure you are adding super duper hydration before you put a moisturizer on. Seriously, like look at that dewy glow. Now my skin's all prepped and ready. Usually I'll now go make a cup of tea or something, let this sit for a couple of minutes before I now go and put my makeup on, and my makeup is going to sit so much better because I have that amazing skincare underneath. Like look at that shiny glow. Super shiny, super glowy. We all want glowy skin. We all want less fine lines and wrinkles, and this is the way to do it. All right, have a wonderful day, everybody. I hope you have a magnificent day.